Welcome to a deep dive into the world of WWE, where we bring you stories that are both emotional and impactful. In today's video, we'll talk about the tragic losses of wrestling legends who left us far too soon. We'll uncover the causes of their untimely deaths, from devastating health issues to other shocking circumstances, and how their passings changed the wrestling world forever. And that's not all. We also have some very sad news about Charlotte Flair. Stay tuned. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Miss Elizabeth, born Elizabeth Ann Hewlett on November 19, 1960, remains one of professional wrestling's most unforgettable figures. Often called the First Lady of Wrestling, she became an iconic presence in the 1980s and 1990s, especially in the World Wrestling Federation, in WWF, where she was famously paired with Macho Man Randy Savage. Elizabeth debuted in the WWF in 1985 as Savage's manager, quickly standing out for her calm, graceful demeanor amid the rowdy and larger-than-life personalities that dominated the wrestling scene. Her elegant and poised presence made her beloved by fans, offering a striking contrast to the chaotic energy inside the ring. Beyond her role as a manager, Elizabeth's real-life romance with Randy Savage captured the imagination of wrestling audiences worldwide. Their relationship was woven deeply into WWF storylines, most notably culminating in their widely celebrated Match Made in Heaven wedding at SummerSlam 1991, a landmark moment in wrestling history that blended reality with entertainment. Elizabeth's involvement in major storylines extended beyond her relationship with Savage. She was a central figure during Savage's legendary feud with Hulk Hogan, which led to the creation of the Mega Powers, one of wrestling's most memorable alliances. Her ability to bring emotional depth and sincerity to these narratives helped elevate women's roles in wrestling during an era when female characters were often sidelined. In the 1990s, Elizabeth continued her career in World Championship Wrestling, WCW, maintaining her status as a cherished wrestling personality. Sadly, her life was cut short when she, from acute toxicity related to a drug overdose. Despite this tragic end, Miss Elizabeth's legacy endures as a pioneering woman in wrestling, remembered for her grace, strength, and the heartfelt emotion she brought to the sport, paving the way for future generations of women in professional wrestling. Bruiser Brody, born Frank Goodish on June 18, 1946, was a legendary American professional wrestler celebrated for his fierce, brawling style that left a lasting mark on the wrestling world. Standing at an imposing 6 feet 8 inches, Brody became famous in the 1970s and 1980s for his wild, untamed persona and chaotic, hardcore matches that captivated fans worldwide. Known primarily as a heel or villain, Brody was feared for his brutal, no-holds-barred approach and his refusal to always follow the scripted nature of wrestling, which gave his performances a raw and unpredictable edge. Brody's career spanned multiple continents, with significant success in the United States, Japan, and Puerto Rico. His work in Japan, particularly with New Japan Pro Wrestling and All Japan Pro Wrestling, cemented his reputation as King Kong Brody, a title reflecting his monstrous presence and dominating style. Fans admired his blend of intense physicality and psychological warfare inside the ring, which brought a gritty, authentic feel to his matches that stood out from the more polished wrestling styles of the time. Off-screen, Brody was known for his rebellious spirit and clashes with promoters, which only added to his wild man mystique. Despite his controversial reputation, his influence on the evolution of hardcore wrestling is undeniable. Tragically, Brody's life was following a violent backstage altercation in Puerto Rico in 1988, an incident that shocked the wrestling community and left a dark shadow over his legacy. Today, Bruiser Brody is remembered as a pioneer who redefined what it meant to be a hardcore wrestler. His fearless, larger-than-life persona continues to inspire generations of wrestlers who seek to capture the same raw intensity and passion that made Brody a true icon of professional wrestling. Kristen Abel, 1984 to 2016, was a gifted professional wrestler who made a meaningful impact on the independent wrestling scene. Born and raised in the United States, she pursued her passion for wrestling with relentless dedication, undergoing intense training to develop her skills. Making her in-ring debut in the early 2000s, Kristen quickly stood out due to her impressive athleticism, captivating charisma, and unwavering commitment to the sport. Throughout her career, Abel demonstrated remarkable versatility, competing across various wrestling promotions. She earned the admiration of both fans and fellow wrestlers alike through her high-energy performances and her ability to emotionally connect with the audience. Whether delivering fast-paced action or engaging storytelling, Kristen's matches often left a lasting impression on everyone watching. Her passion for continual growth and refinement of her craft was evident in every bout, highlighting her professional drive and love for wrestling. Tragically, Kristen's promising career and life were cut short when her sudden deeply affected the wrestling community, prompting an outpouring of grief from colleagues, fans, and friends who remembered her not only for her talent, but also for her spirit and kindness. Though her time in wrestling was brief, her legacy endures through the memories and tributes shared by those she inspired. Kristen Abel's story serves as a powerful reminder of the pressures faced by athletes in the wrestling industry and underscores the critical importance of mental health awareness. Her influence continues to motivate aspiring wrestlers to pursue their dreams while taking care of their well-being. Through the heartfelt stories and respect she left behind, Kristen's memory lives on as a beloved figure who touched many lives both inside and outside the ring. Winona Littleheart, born on September 5, 1955, was a groundbreaking Native American professional wrestler who left a lasting impact on the sport during the 1970s and 1980s. As a proud member of the Choctaw Nation, she used her platform to bring much-needed visibility to Indigenous women in wrestling and entertainment at a time when women's wrestling was still fighting for mainstream recognition. Winona trained intensively to develop a powerful in-ring persona that combined impressive athleticism with undeniable charisma. Known for her fierce fighting style and signature moves, she earned respect in a male-dominated industry, breaking barriers for women and wrestlers of color alike. Throughout her career, she competed in numerous wrestling promotions, consistently showcasing her talent, determination, and resilience. Her journey wasn't without obstacles. As a woman of color in a tough, often unforgiving profession, Littleheart faced many challenges, including limited opportunities and stereotyping. However, her dedication and passion helped open doors for future generations of female wrestlers, particularly Indigenous athletes who looked to her as a role model. Beyond wrestling, Winona was a vocal advocate for Indigenous rights and representation. She leveraged her fame to raise awareness about social issues affecting Indigenous communities, using her influence to inspire change both inside and outside the ring. Winona Littleheart, but her legacy continues to inspire. She is remembered not only for her athletic achievements, but also for her trailblazing role in advancing equality and representation in professional wrestling. Her story is a powerful reminder of the strength, resilience, and spirit of Indigenous women, and her impact on the evolution of women's wrestling remains significant to this day. Kay Noble, born on October 15, 1940, in New York City, was a trailblazer in women's professional wrestling during the 1950s and 1960s. At a time when the sport was overwhelmingly male-dominated, Noble stood out as one of the earliest female stars who helped carve a path for future generations of women wrestlers. With a blend of technical skill, athleticism, and magnetic charisma, she captivated audiences and earned widespread respect. Noble's wrestling style was a mix of solid technique and an engaging presence that made her a fan favorite wherever she competed. Throughout her career, she wrestled for prominent organizations like the National Wrestling Alliance, NWA, as well as various regional promotions across the United States. Known for her fierce competitiveness, Kay was not only a skilled athlete, but also a performer who knew how to connect deeply with the crowd. Her high-profile matches helped bring attention and legitimacy to women's wrestling during an era when female wrestlers struggled for recognition. Despite facing the challenges and limitations placed on women in professional wrestling at the time, Noble's dedication and passion elevated her status within the industry. She was admired by her peers for her resilience, determination, and the trail she blazed in a tough, male-centric environment. Tragically, Kay Noble's life was cut short when However, her impact on the sport remains undeniable. She is remembered as a pioneering figure who opened doors for female wrestlers and helped shift perceptions of women in wrestling. Today, her legacy continues to inspire aspiring female athletes, reminding them of the importance of perseverance and courage in breaking barriers. Kay Noble's contributions to wrestling history secure her place as a cherished and influential icon in the world of professional wrestling. Brett Sawyer, born on August 10, 1960, in St. Petersburg, Florida, was a respected American professional wrestler and trainer, best known by his ring name, Hacksaw Brett Sawyer. His passion for wrestling began early, competing in amateur wrestling during high school. Brett honed his skills under the guidance of wrestling legend Ricky Steamboat and was deeply influenced by his older brother, Bruce Woyan, who wrestled as Buzz Sawyer. Brett made his professional debut at just 16 years old in 1976, marking the start of a noteworthy career. In the early 1980s, Sawyer became a prominent figure in Pacific Northwest Wrestling, PNW. During his time there, he captured the NWA Pacific Northwest Heavyweight Championship 4 times and won the NWA Pacific Northwest Tag Team Championship 5 times. His talents quickly gained attention beyond the region, leading him to Georgia Championship Wrestling, where he teamed with his brother Buzz. Together they engaged in a memorable feud with the legendary Road Warriors, capturing the NWA National Tag Team Championship in 1983. That same year, Brett also secured the prestigious NWA National Heavyweight Championship. Sawyer's wrestling career was diverse and far-reaching. He competed in several major promotions, including Jim Crockett Promotions and New Japan Pro Wrestling, participating in renowned events like the Jim Crockett Senior Memorial Cup Tag Team Tournament. He also had a stint in championship wrestling from Florida. Beyond his in-ring accomplishments, Brett contributed to the industry as a trainer, notably mentoring future MMA and wrestling star Ken Shamrock. After retiring from active competition in 1998, Sawyer dedicated himself to training the next generation by opening Mad Dog's Palace School of Professional Wrestling in his hometown. Brett Sawyer, leaving behind a lasting legacy as both a talented wrestler and a passionate mentor in the wrestling world. Absolute Andy, born on September 22, 1983, was a standout figure in European professional wrestling, known for his dynamic in-ring style and infectious charisma. Throughout his career, he gained widespread recognition, especially in Germany's West Side Extreme Wrestling, WXW, where he became a key player on the independent circuit. Andy was admired for his versatility and athleticism, confidently competing in various match types that showcased his skill and adaptability. His high-energy performances and signature moves captivated audiences, making him a fan favorite wherever he wrestled. Beyond his technical prowess, Andy's ability to connect with fans helped him build a loyal following, further establishing his place as a beloved personality in the wrestling world. In addition to his in-ring achievements, Absolute Andy contributed significantly behind the scenes as a promoter, working tirelessly to grow the wrestling scene in Europe. His passion for the sport was evident in his efforts to develop new talent and elevate wrestling's profile across the continent. Through mentorship and event promotion, he played a vital role in inspiring a new generation of wrestlers to pursue their dreams. Tragically, Absolute Andy, leaving a deep void in the wrestling community. His untimely shocked fans and peers alike, sparking an outpouring of tributes from across the industry. Fellow wrestlers and supporters celebrated his life, remembering him not only as a talented performer, but also as a passionate advocate for professional wrestling. Absolute Andy's legacy continues to live on through the countless lives he influenced and the lasting mark he left on European wrestling. His dedication, spirit, and love for the sport remain an inspiration to fans and wrestlers around the world. Ursula Hayden, born on March 8, 1966, was a celebrated American professional wrestler, actress, and producer who left a lasting mark on the wrestling world before her passing at the age of 56. Rising to prominence in the late 1980s and 1990s, she captivated fans with a unique blend of charisma, athleticism, and engaging personality that made her a standout performer. Known in the ring simply as Ursula, she earned respect for her versatile wrestling style, which skillfully combined powerful moves with high-flying techniques. Her time in the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, and various independent promotions showcased her talent and determination. Ursula was known for her intense rivalries and memorable matches that helped build a loyal fan base and cement her place in wrestling history. Beyond her in-ring career, Ursula Hayden expanded her influence by venturing into acting, where she appeared in films and television shows, demonstrating her talents outside wrestling. She also took on the role of a producer, organizing wrestling events and championing women's representation in the industry. Her dedication to advancing women's roles helped inspire countless aspiring female wrestlers to chase their dreams in a male-dominated sport. Throughout her career, Ursula faced her share of challenges, including injuries and personal struggles. But her passion for wrestling and her community never waned. She was known not only for her in-ring skill, but also for her kindness and unwavering support for fellow wrestlers and fans alike. Her passing sparked an outpouring of tributes from colleagues and fans who celebrated her contributions and spirit. Ursula Hayden's legacy remains deeply ingrained in the wrestling world as a pioneering figure who inspired many and helped pave the way for future generations of female wrestlers. Ashley Elizabeth Flyer, known to the wrestling world as Charlotte Flair, stands as one of the most iconic and influential female wrestlers in WWE history. Born on April 5, 1986, in Charlotte, North Carolina, she was seemingly destined for greatness from the moment she entered this world. The daughter of Ric Flair, arguably the greatest professional wrestler of all time, Charlotte inherited not only a legendary last name, but also a fierce competitive spirit and unparalleled passion for wrestling. However, her journey has not simply been about carrying forward her father's legacy. It is a story of hard work, resilience, undeniable talent, and navigating the complex pressures and controversies that come with fame and family history in the spotlight. Early life and wrestling heritage. Born into the Flair dynasty. To understand Charlotte Flair's rise, one must first appreciate the legacy into which she was born. Her father, Ric Flair, known as the Nature Boy, is one of professional wrestling's most revered figures. With a career spanning over 4 decades, Ric Flair amassed a record 16 recognized world championships and became renowned for his flamboyant personality, incredible charisma, and mastery of the craft inside the ring. For wrestling fans, Ric Flair is synonymous with excellence, drama, and the art of storytelling in sports entertainment. Growing up in Charlotte, North Carolina, Ashley Elizabeth Flyer was immersed in wrestling culture from a very young age. Her mother, Elizabeth Harrell, also played a supportive role in her life, but it was the larger-than-life presence of her father and the wrestling environment surrounding the family that profoundly influenced her. Surrounded by wrestlers, wrestling gear, and the highs and lows of a life spent on the road, Charlotte absorbed the wrestling world's realities early on. Unlike some second-generation athletes who may shy away from the pressure of comparison, Charlotte embraced her heritage. Yet she was determined not to be seen as Ric Flair's daughter alone. She wanted to craft her own identity, and for that, she would have to prove herself through sheer talent, discipline, and perseverance. Athletic background and early career. Foundations of a future champion. Before stepping foot in a wrestling ring, Charlotte's athleticism was evident. She was a standout athlete during her school years, playing basketball and volleyball, demonstrating a competitive spirit and physical prowess that would become essential in wrestling. Her height, standing around 5 feet 10 inches, combined with her athletic ability, gave her a presence few female wrestlers could match. Charlotte trained rigorously, learning the fundamentals of wrestling technique and psychology under seasoned trainers. Her early wrestling career saw her competing in various independent promotions across the United States, honing her craft and developing a persona that balanced strength with elegance. Her talent and potential caught the attention of WWE, and in 2012, Charlotte signed with the company's developmental territory, NXT. From the outset, WWE recognized her potential not just as a wrestler, but as a future cornerstone of their women's division. NXT stardom. Rising through the ranks, Charlotte's time in NXT was marked by impressive matches, a rapidly growing fan base, and several championship reigns. She quickly established herself as a dominant force within the brand. Her rivalry with fellow NXT superstars such as Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Becky Lynch not only elevated her status, but also helped redefine women's wrestling within WWE. Charlotte's in-ring style combined technical skill with an intense, aggressive edge, traits that paid homage to her father's wrestling style, but were uniquely her own. WWE fans and critics alike praised her ability to tell compelling stories through matches, and her charisma both in and out of the ring set her apart. In 2014, Charlotte won the NXT Women's Championship for the first time, beginning a reign that would set new standards in NXT's women's division. She held the title multiple times, with long, memorable runs that showcased her as a credible, ruthless competitor. The Women's Revolution and main roster breakthrough. Charlotte's debut on WWE's main roster in 2015 marked a seismic shift for the company's women's division. Alongside peers like Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Bayley, Charlotte became a central figure in what WWE dubbed the Women's Revolution. This movement sought to elevate female wrestlers from mere eye candy and secondary attractions into legitimate, respected athletes with complex characters and compelling storylines. Charlotte was the first woman to headline WWE's flagship event, Raw, and made history as the first female superstar to compete in the inaugural Women's Hell in a cell match in 2016. These milestones were emblematic of the broader cultural change she helped catalyze. Women wrestlers no longer had to be side attractions, but were central to WWE's storytelling and business strategy. Her championship haul on the main roster speaks volumes about her dominance. Multiple Raw Women's Championship reigns, several SmackDown Women's Championship reigns, and victories in high-profile matches such as the Women's Royal Rumble and Money in the Bank ladder match. Charlotte's ability to adapt her character, from the Queen persona, which played off regal arrogance and dominance, to more nuanced and vulnerable versions, demonstrated her versatility as a performer. This versatility made her a fan favorite, a heel, villain, to be loathed, and everything in between. Return from hiatus and 2024 Royal Rumble triumph. After a brief hiatus in 2023, fans eagerly anticipated Charlotte's return to WWE programming. The hiatus had allowed her time to focus on healing, physical conditioning, and personal matters. Her comeback was met with enthusiastic applause and renewed interest in her storyline possibilities. The highlight of her recent career was winning the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble, a grueling battle royal event featuring some of the best female talent in WWE history. This victory secured Charlotte a title shot at WrestleMania 41, the grandest stage in professional wrestling, where she would face the reigning champion, Tiffany Stratton. Charlotte's Royal Rumble win was not just a testament to her in-ring skill, but also a symbol of her enduring relevance. In a division continually refreshed with new talent, Charlotte's ability to remain at the forefront speaks to her unmatched experience, star power, and work ethic. Personal life. relationships, marriages, and challenges in the public eye. While Charlotte's wrestling career has flourished, her personal life has frequently become a topic of public discussion. Over the years, she has been married 3 times, each relationship attracting varying degrees of media attention. Her first marriage was to Ricky Johnson from 2010 to 2013, a period coinciding with the early stages of her wrestling career. Following that, she married British wrestler Tom Latimer from 2013 to 2015. Both marriages, while not as publicly scrutinized as her most recent one, contributed to the evolving narrative of Charlotte's personal journey. In 2022, Charlotte married professional wrestler Manuel Alfonso Andrade Oropeza, better known as Andrade. Their relationship was highly publicized, celebrated as a union of 2 WWE superstars with undeniable chemistry and mutual respect. The couple often appeared on WWE programming together and were considered a wrestling power couple. However, by 2024, their marriage ended in divorce. The split was widely reported in wrestling media, sparking conversations about the difficulties of maintaining relationships within the demanding, travel-heavy wrestling industry. Fans and commentators speculated on how the personal upheaval might affect Charlotte's in-ring focus and emotional well-being. The burden of legacy, balancing fame and expectations. Being Ric Flair's daughter has been a double-edged sword for Charlotte. On the one hand, it granted her unique access and opportunities that few aspiring wrestlers could dream of. On the other, it placed immense pressure on her to live up to a legacy that has defined professional wrestling for generations. Many fans and critics argue that Charlotte's path to stardom was eased by her father's name and connections. The notion of nepotism in professional wrestling is not new, and Charlotte's rise has occasionally been dismissed by detractors as a product of backstage favoritism rather than pure merit. Charlotte herself has addressed these criticisms in interviews, emphasizing the years of hard work, injuries, and personal sacrifices that have paved her career. She often points to her rigorous training regimen, in-ring accomplishments, and ability to captivate audiences as proof that she deserves her place at the top. Yet the whispers persist. Whether in online fan forums or among wrestling insiders, the debate continues about the role that family ties have played in Charlotte's career trajectory. The pressure to maintain perfection, mental health, and public scrutiny. Charlotte Flair's position as a flagship superstar has placed her under a microscope. Every performance, interview, and public appearance is dissected by fans, commentators, and critics alike. This constant scrutiny can be exhausting and has fueled rumors about Charlotte's mental health. Wrestling is an intensely physical and psychological profession, with travel demands, performance pressure, and backstage politics creating a challenging environment for any talent. For Charlotte, these pressures are magnified by the expectations to uphold the Flair name and to consistently deliver headline-worthy performances. Some fans and insiders have speculated that Charlotte's occasionally cryptic social media posts and periods of reduced public engagement indicate struggles with anxiety, depression, or burnout. While Charlotte has not publicly confirmed these speculations, she has been open about the importance of mental health and self-care in interviews, reflecting a growing trend of wrestlers addressing their well-being. Controversies and allegations of favoritism. Another recurring theme in discussions about Charlotte Flair is the allegation of favoritism and backstage politics within WWE. Wrestling, by its nature, is heavily influenced by creative decisions made behind the scenes, and the distribution of title opportunities and screen time is often a reflection of those politics. Critics claim that Charlotte receives preferential treatment, with WWE management frequently placing her in title pictures and high-profile storylines at the expense of other talented female wrestlers. These claims fuel ongoing debates about fairness and meritocracy in the wrestling business. Defenders of Charlotte argue that her success is deserved and that WWE has simply recognized her star power and ability to sell matches and merchandise. They also highlight that many wrestlers with connections have succeeded or failed regardless of lineage, and Charlotte's longevity and adaptability prove her talent. Professional rivalries and relationships within WWE. Charlotte's journey has not been without professional rivalries that sometimes blur the lines between on-screen storytelling and real-life tension. Her matches and feuds with fellow superstars like Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Rhea Ripley, and others have been among WWE's most captivating. These rivalries have occasionally sparked rumors of backstage friction, with some wrestling news outlets suggesting that competitive tensions affect working relationships. However, Charlotte and her peers have largely maintained professionalism, with most issues confined to kayfabe storylines. Conclusion: the complexity of wrestling royalty. Charlotte Flair's story is one of complexity, a mixture of heritage and individuality, triumphs and tribulations, public adulation and private struggles. She embodies the challenges of being a second-generation superstar in a demanding, high-profile industry. Her ability to overcome criticisms, personal setbacks, and intense pressure while remaining a top performer is a testament to her resilience and dedication. Charlotte Flair is not just Ric Flair's daughter. She is a wrestling icon in her own right, a trailblazer for women's wrestling, and a symbol of strength in the face of adversity. Her legacy continues to grow, and her story remains one of the most compelling in the world of sports entertainment.